Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that, well, might seem like just a financial note from West Africa at first glance. But when you dig a little deeper, it looks like it could be much more. We're talking about a $300 million investment in Niger.
Right, from the West African Development Bank, BOA.
Exactly. And it might be sending some tremors through the region's geopolitics, maybe even global markets.
Yeah, these quieter moves are often where the real shifts happen, aren't they? So for this deep dive, we're relying on insights from a YouTube video transcript.
That's right. It's from the Pan-African Lens channel, and the title is pretty evocative. Breaking. Niger gets $300 meter boost from West African Bank. No one saw this coming.
Quite the title.
It is. So our mission today is, to get past those headlines. We want to explore how this one financial move might genuinely signal a new era for Niger.
Especially regarding control over its own natural resources.
Yes, precisely. We're looking for those nuggets of knowledge, as the source puts it, that might show a completely different path forward for the country.
Okay, so let's get into it. The story really kicks off with a strategic meeting. It happened on June 23rd, 2025, actually in Niger.
And who is involved?
Well, the key figures were Niger's Prime Minister, Ali Mohamed Lamonson. He's also the Minister of Economy and Finance.
Okay.
And Mr. Mustafa Dow, who heads up BOD's mission right there in Niger.
And the goals they announced. Pretty huge, right? Securing the country's food future and fixing its chronic energy problems.
Hugely ambitious, and this is where it gets really fascinating, because it throws Niger's big paradox into sharp relief.
The resource paradox. Rich country, poor people.
Exactly. You've got a nation sitting on incredible wealth, uranium, for instance.
Which powers France's nuclear grid.
Right. Loads of sunshine, perfect for solar power. Vast amounts of land for agriculture.
But historically, the people of Niger themselves haven't seen the benefits, have they?
Not nearly enough. The video we looked at talks about, and this is a direct quote, centuries of extraction, foreign manipulation, and engineered dependency.
Wow. Engineered dependency. That's strong language.
It is. And consider this statistic they highlighted. Paris lights up its landmarks, partly with Nigerian uranium.
Yeah.
While only about 13% of people in rural Niger have electricity. 13%.
That is just stark.
The source argues it's not accidental. It's systemic, a structure where Niger exports resources.
And imports poverty, effectively.
That's the framing. France gets over 70% of its electricity from nuclear.
Heavily reliant on that uranium.
While many Nigerians, as the source puts it, sit in the dark,
Yeah.
It really highlights this deep imbalance.
Okay, so that context is crucial. It helps explain why this $300 million from BOD isn't just seen as, a simple cash transfer.
Exactly. It's being called a declaration, a real shift in tone.
A shift in tone.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that translate on the ground? What does this declaration actually mean for people? It focuses on agriculture and energy.
Two critical areas, yes. For agriculture, the big push is on irrigation, water control.
Absolutely vital in the Sahel.
Totally. So the money is going to the National Office for Hydro-Agricultural Development, ONAI.
ONAI. Okay, what's the plan there?
Well, ONAI has apparently struggled with, funding an old infrastructure. So this investment is meant to seriously upgrade and expand irrigation networks.
Makes sense.
The idea is pretty straightforward. Better water management means more crops, potentially more exports, and ultimately more independence. Food security.
And then there's the energy piece. The source called this the real game changer.
Yes, because BOA is putting money directly into Nigelec.
The state electricity company. Why is that so significant?
Well, think about it. Electricity underpins everything. Manufacturing, supply chains, mining, getting goods out.
Right. You can't do much without reliable power.
Precisely. And reliability has been a huge issue. So this isn't just about putting up more poles. It's about stabilizing the whole system generation distribution.
So getting to the core of the problem.
Exactly. The video frames it as energy justice, trying to flip the script, as they say, moving from dependency towards sovereignty.
From just exporting raw stuff to becoming more of an industrial player.
That seems to be the ambition.
Something else that jumped out was the speed. This whole deal came together incredibly fast.
Yeah, that's highlighted too. Apparently, after some regional talks in mid-June, they basically gave themselves 1 week.
1 week to get the financing proposals done.
That's what the source says, which is, exceptionally rare in this kind of development finance.
It really suggests urgency, doesn't it? And maybe trust.
Definitely. It signals that something's changed. For decades, African nations often faced terms being, well, dictated.
Right. The infamous structural adjustment programs, the conditions, the delays.
All of that. But here, the implication is that Niger is actually setting the agenda, choosing the projects, setting the priorities.
It feels like a real break from the past.
It does, which leads to the big question.
Why now? What's shifted?
Well, you have to look at the bigger geopolitical picture. The source connects this directly to the realignment taking place in the Sahel.
Okay, explain that a bit.
Niger is part of the Alliance of Sahel States, the AES, along with Mali and Burkina Faso.
Right, and they've taken quite a strong stance recently.
Very strong. Pushing back against Western military presence, particularly France. Resisting pressure from ECOWAS.
They're charting their own course.
That's the phrase used. Choosing its own path. So one interpretation is that this BO8 investment is perhaps a reward for that stance. Or maybe.
Maybe like insurance. Bolstering a partner who's moving in a direction they favor.
Could be. It's strategic, certainly. Because think about the outcome. A stable Niger with its own food and energy.
Becomes a much stronger player in the region.
A powerful Niger. One that can lead.
So that meeting on June 23rd, it wasn't just a meeting.
The source paints it as symbolic. A quiet announcement, maybe, but a kind of promise.
A promise to break away from a model that clearly wasn't working for them.
Yeah, moving beyond just exporting raw gold and then importing bags of rice.
Or fueling French cities while Nigerian kids study by candlelight. That image is powerful.
It is. And the timeline suggests things could move quickly. Once the money flows, projects could start within months.
Where would they likely start?
The focus would probably be on the areas most in need first. Rural places, areas with low food security, poor energy access, then scaling up.
It really does feel like, as the source suggests, a test of Niger's readiness to actually lead its own development.
Absolutely. And the message seems intended to echo beyond Niger, too.
How so?
It's like a signal to other African nations.
Yeah.
If you assert your sovereignty, if you prioritize your own needs.
You won't necessarily be isolated.
Exactly. That partners like BOD and African Development Bank, importantly, are ready to support development, but on African terms.
That framing is key. On African terms.
It underpins this core idea that Niger isn't inherently poor or weak. It's been exploited.
And if that exploitation stops...
its potential can be unleashed. That's the belief being expressed.
So this $300 million isn't just the end game. It's seen as seed money.
As a catalyst, yeah.
Yeah.
Something that could unlock billions more down the line in exports, mining, energy, infrastructure.
It all comes back to that word, control.
Control over resources, development path, the future direction.
And this is happening while the whole global economy is shifting too, right? Resource demand, supply chains changing.
Definitely. Rising demand for natural resources, volatile energy prices, new tariffs, redrawn trade routes. It makes resource-rich countries like Niger potentially more valuable.
But the crucial question is...
as the source asks, who benefits this time?
And Niger's answer through this deal seems to be...
we do.
It's being presented as more than just economics then. It's about...
liberation, almost. The source calls it the era of economic liberation, a return to dignity, strategy, ownership.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. This BO8 investment, it's not just $300 million. It's being framed as a leverage.
Yeah, the kind of leverage that could potentially shift a whole region towards more sovereignty.
So the big question for you, our listener, to ponder is this. Given Niger's history, that deep history of exploitation we discussed, can this investment truly be the start of an economic turnaround?
Can it really empower Niger to become a leader in energy and food security on its own terms?
And thinking even broader, if Niger does manage to take real control over its resources, what might that mean for power dynamics, for development across the entire African continent?
These are definitely deep questions worth thinking about well beyond the initial headlines.
Absolutely. Keep digging, keep questioning. Join us next time for another deep dive.